Last call for boarding. Transport vessel Artemis, departing for Proxima Colony in 30 minutes. Commander Ren Wexler's heart sank as the announcement echoed through the bustling spaceport. He tightened his grip on Lyra's hand, her crimson fingers intertwined with his, the warmth of her touch seeping through his tactical glove. Her iridescent markings pulsed with a soft blue glow that he'd learned meant sadness. "You could still refuse the mission?" Lyra whispered, her voice like wind chimes in the cacophony of the departure terminal. Around them, humans and aliens rushed in all directions beneath the soaring transparent dome of New Horizon Spaceport, Earth's gateway to the stars. Ren shook his head, watching as the massive Artemis loomed beyond the viewports, its engines beginning their pre-ignition sequence. "The colony is under threat. They specifically requested me." He turned to face her fully, taking in her otherworldly beauty one last time. The constellation of luminescent patterns across her red skin. The eyes that shifted between amber and violet, depending on her mood. "But you could still come with me?" Lyra's markings dimmed. "You know I can't. The atmospheric composition at Proxima would dissolve my respiratory membranes within days. The adaptation technology isn't ready yet. 3 years ago, Ren wouldn't have imagined feeling this way about anyone, let alone a Scytheran diplomat assigned to the Earth Embassy. Now, the thought of leaving her behind made the mission ahead seem hollow. "Commander Wexler!" Captain Dorn's gruff voice cut through their moment. The stocky security chief approached, his cybernetic eyes scanning them both with undisguised disapproval. "Your presence is required for final mission briefing, now." "I'll be there momentarily, Captain," Ren replied, his tone making it clear this wasn't a request. Dorn's mechanical eye whirred as he focused on Lyra. "Ambassador Invari, I believe the Scytheran delegation is gathering in the East Wing. Diplomatic protocols and all that." His words were technically polite, but his disdain for interspecies relationships was barely concealed. "Thank you for your concern with my schedule, Captain," Lyra responded with practiced diplomatic grace. "I'm quite aware of my obligations." After Dorn reluctantly departed, Ren led Lyra to a quieter corner of the terminal, beside a viewport overlooking the massive hangar where the Artemis waited. The ship's sleek hull gleamed under the artificial lights, its quantum engines pulsing with contained energy. "Remember when we first met?" Lyra asked, her fingers tracing the command insignia on his armor. "You were so formal, so human." Ren smiled despite himself. "And you kept violating security protocols because your people don't believe in restricted areas." "We believe boundaries should be earned, not imposed," she corrected, the memory brightening her markings momentarily. The scene dissolved into Ren's mind. Their first encounter in this very spaceport, 1 year ago. He had been conducting a security sweep when he found her in a restricted maintenance tunnel, calmly examining the environmental systems. "This area is off limits to civilians," he had barked, hand instinctively moving to his sidearm. She had turned, unalarmed, her red skin luminous under the emergency lighting. "Fascinating. Your species constructs these magnificent vessels to traverse the stars, yet you section off parts of your own structures from one another." Instead of escorting her out immediately, he had found himself asking, "Why are you interested in our environmental systems?" "Because they tell the true story of a civilization. What you value, what you fear, what you're willing to sacrifice for comfort." She had extended her hand in the human custom she had studied. "Lyra Envari, xenobiological ambassador from Cythera." That chance meeting had led to diplomatic dinners, cultural exchange programs, and eventually, private moments where they discovered that despite evolving on planets 40 light-years apart, they shared more than either could have imagined. Now, standing in the shadow of his departing ship, Those memories felt both vivid and distant. 20 minutes until departure. All passengers for Artemis, please proceed to final boarding. Wren's comm unit buzzed. Orders from Fleet Command, no doubt questioning his delay. The mission to Proxima was classified. Suspected terrorist activity threatening the colony's fusion reactors. If successful, the attack could destabilize the entire sector and rupture the fragile peace between Earth and 3 alien alliances. "I have to go," he said, the words tasting bitter. Lyra nodded, her composure slipping for just a moment. Duty calls the dutiful. 6 months. That's all this mission should take. Then I'll request reassignment to Earth Defense. Much can change in 6 months, Lyra said. The Cytheran Council is already pressuring me to return home. They say I've become too invested in human affairs. The real meaning was clear. They knew about her relationship with Wren and disapproved. Interspecies relationships weren't forbidden, but they were viewed with suspicion, especially between representatives of worlds with tenuous diplomatic ties. "Commander Vexler," Dorn's voice boomed over the comm. "The captain is waiting." Wren ignored it, instead pulling Lyra close. "What if I resigned my commission? We could find a neutral world, somewhere with an atmosphere compatible with both our physiologies. And you would resent me within a year," she said softly. "Your duty is part of who you are, Wren. I would never ask you to abandon it, just as you would never ask me to abandon my responsibilities as ambassador." The truth of her words stung. His entire adult life had been dedicated to protecting Earth's interests across the stars. Even now, with his heart breaking, part of him was already calculating mission parameters, threat assessments, tactical approaches. "Final boarding call for Artemis. All personnel must report immediately." The spaceport around them continued its relentless rhythm, families embracing, business travelers hurrying with minimal luggage, colonists surrounded by crates of possessions bound for new lives on distant worlds. Earth's empire of stars continued to expand, and with it, the need for people like Wren to secure its borders. "Go," Lyra said, stepping back. "Your crew needs you." Wren hesitated, then reached into his pocket and withdrew a small device. "This is for you. It's a quantum entanglement communicator. Experimental technology. No matter the distance between us, no signal delay." Lyra accepted it, her markings pulsing with surprise. "This is classified technology." "Technically, it's still in testing," Wren said with a half smile. "Consider yourself part of the beta program." She clutched the device, then reached into her flowing garments and produced a small, translucent orb that glowed with an inner light. "And this is for you. A Cytheran life crystal. It resonates with my biorhythms. As long as it glows, you'll know I'm thinking of you." The overhead announcement system blared again, more urgently this time. Wren took the crystal, feeling its warmth against his palm. "I have to go," he said, the commander in him finally winning over the man. Lyra nodded, composing herself with diplomatic precision. "Safe journey, Commander Vexler." He turned and walked away, each step heavier than the last. Around him, the spaceport continued its eternal cycle of arrivals and departures, the great dance of a spacefaring civilization. Hundreds of beings from dozens of worlds moved through the terminal, each with their own stories, their own separations and reunions. At the security checkpoint, Captain Dorn waited with obvious impatience. "Cutting it rather close, Commander." The captain was considering leaving without her XO. "That would be against protocol, Captain," Wren replied coolly, submitting to the final security scan. "Your attachment to the Cytheran could be considered a security risk," Dorn said, lowering his voice. especially for a mission of this sensitivity. Wren fixed him with a hard stare. My personal relationships have been fully disclosed to Fleet Command, Captain. They had no concerns. Do you? Dorn's cybernetic eye whirred as he stepped aside. Just doing my job, Commander. Ensuring Earth's interests are protected. As am I, Wren replied, proceeding through the checkpoint. The boarding tunnel stretched before him, leading to the Artemis and his duty. He paused at the threshold, looking back one last time. But Lyra was already gone, swallowed by the crowd. Aboard the Artemis, the crew worked with practiced efficiency, preparing for departure. Captain Alara Way nodded as Wren entered the bridge. Cutting it close, Commander. Apologies, Captain. Personal matters. Way's expression softened slightly. The Red Diplomat. News traveled fast, even in a spaceport this size. Yes, Captain. Difficult. Leaving someone behind. It wasn't a question. Part of the job, Wren replied, settling into his station and immersing himself in pre-flight checks, grateful for the distraction of duty. The Artemis disengaged from the spaceport with a barely perceptible shudder. Through the viewports, Earth grew smaller. The sprawling complex of New Horizon Spaceport reduced to a glittering speck on the blue-green surface. 3 days into the journey, as the Artemis prepared for its first FTL jump, Wren sat alone in his quarters, holding Lyra's life crystal. Its glow had remained constant since their parting, a small comfort in the void between stars. His quantum communicator chimed, a sound that should have been impossible this far from Earth without relay stations. I found a way. Lyra's voice came through with perfect clarity, as if she were standing beside him. A way for what? Wren asked, his heart suddenly racing. To join you on Proxima. Our scientists have been developing an atmospheric conversion implant. It's experimental, but I've volunteered for the procedure. Wren sat up straight. Lyra, that's too dangerous. The technology is ready enough, she interrupted. I'll be on the next transport, arriving 2 weeks after you. The Cytheran Council believes I'm conducting a diplomatic mission to study human colonial governance. And what are you actually doing? Wren asked, already knowing the answer. Following my heart across the stars, she replied simply. Some journeys must be taken together, Commander Vexler. Through the viewport of his quarters, Wren watched as the stars blurred, preparing for the jump to FTL. The life crystal in his hand pulsed brighter, as if responding to Lyra's voice. Then I'll be waiting, he said, feeling for the first time since leaving Earth that he was heading towards something, not just away. We have work to do on Proxima. Yes, Lyra agreed, her voice warm even across the quantum connection. And after that, perhaps we find that neutral world you mentioned. There are, after all, many stars in the sky. As the Artemis leapt into faster-than-light travel, Wren held the glowing crystal tight. In a universe vast enough to separate worlds and species by unfathomable distances, they had found each other. And somehow, against all odds, they would find a way to keep it that way. Some bonds, it seemed, could stretch across the stars without breaking.